You ready? Man, we have a fucking absolute legend. Lighter, here you go, sir.
Please, sir.
How long we been picking at this, trying to get this done? For a while. 5 months.
Bro.
And like, honestly, it's one of those things where I was just like, we'll get it done at some point. I know we will.
I think the reason why it started like not happening is that they piled me up with so many in the same like few months where I was just like, bro, I can't handle all this.
Dude,
I keep saying the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
I like to have more things to say.
Exactly. I looked into what the hell you got going on, and I get it. You're rocking and rolling even after rock and roll.
It's better for you now because I have a lot more clarity on what I'm doing.
Yeah. To be honest, man, I just started. I fell in love with your weed, man.
Dude, thank you so much.
That's what happened.
That makes me so fucking happy.
I got it. My boys, I sent them all around the fucking city trying to track it down.
Well, now you know me. I got you.
Dude.
You don't got to go anywhere, but hit me up. And
every single person I have come through here, like, you got to smoke this 22 Red.
Dude.
You know what I mean? And I have a lot of, I don't know if you noticed, like, all the jerseys and shit. So, really, nutshell, obviously, we're going to get into your whole story. But I fell into music very randomly. I was a baseball player, high-level baseball player, 31.
31, okay.
Yeah, and I, up till 21 or 22 even, I hadn't even thought about making a song my whole life.
Oh, wow.
I was like a high-level baseball player.
So you're athletic,
Duke University. I was
amazing.
So I had this, I was a pitcher. I had Tommy John surgery, which is like reconstruction of your elbow, and then I started making music with my downtime. Long story short, I got here, and it's been a fucking journey. So all these jerseys, I mean, the athletes are tough because they can't smoke on camera, but they all smoke.
Of course they do.
Yeah, and they fucking love it. I put them all on it, put them all on 20. We had a bunch of guys here last night.
Let me know, bro. I'll hook everybody up, bro.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it could be one of those things. I fucking have it right here, every goddamn, like that.
Yeah, I got you. I'll get you jars.
You're a fucking legend.
Bigger jars, you know.
So this is Shavo. It's a Odadjian.
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 It's an Armenian last name.
Yeah.
It's really not my family last name, and I'll start with that. It's when the Armenian genocide occurred in 1915. I mean, dude, I'm one of the lucky ones. My family, one member or two members survived and escaped it, the Holocaust, and it was the first Holocaust of the 20th century.
Before the real Holocaust.
And you know what, dude? Like, there's a quote from Hitler where he says, "Who now remembers the Armenians?" Before he went ahead and went with it. That's a quote. If you go to the Smithsonian in D.C., it's a big wall that says, "Who now remembers the Armenians?" Adolf Hitler. Crazy, chilling. So it's like because we're, Armenians are known as like white Aryan because the Caucasus Mountains go through Armenia. You know, like people look at us Middle East. We're not. We're European. You know, we're mountainous country.
Like Eastern Europe.
Eastern Europe, between Russia and Turkey.
And mountains, like
mountains, all mountains.
Yeah.
It's like mountains, cold. We got snow. So it's not like desert.
Right.
Nothing bad about being Middle Eastern, but just we're not.
Right.
So when that happened, I think he was in army. He was in the army. He was a soldier in the German army, and he saw it happen.
Gave him the fucking inspiration.
It gave him inspiration because he was pissed that they were doing this to fucking Caucasians, because it was a religious thing. It was religious, and it was also having to do with politics, where we were right there between Russia and. Like, we were the border to them trading, do everything they can for the rest of Europe and Asia. We were the border. So, and we were the first Christians that accepted Christianity as a national religion. Since we did that, we've been fucked because everyone around us were Muslim, this, that. Right. Like I said, I have nothing against other beliefs and all that, but this is my story. Right. So since that happened, I don't have a family tree, bro. I don't. My last name... Odadjian, right? Odadji is a Turkish word for caretaker. I guess one of my ancestors, my great-grandpa, probably owned a hostel or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Keeper of, like
Amazing.
a hotel owner or whatever. So that's how they just gave that name to us. I wish I knew what my real last name was.
Unbelievable. So coming as a refugee, you came, very young to America?
5 years old. At the time, the borders were closed. So America wouldn't accept, they think it's bad now. Back then, they wouldn't accept anybody. So we had to become, it was 79 when I came. I was 5 years old. We had to become citizens of Italy. So we chose Rome. I lived in Rome in a refugee camp. 20 of us in one bedroom, like a motel style situation from what I remember, because I was 5. So, but I do have a little picture vibe, picture memory.
Yeah.
Once we did that, then they allowed us. So I moved to Queens. And then my dad's family moved to L.A. Mom's family stayed in Queens. My mom didn't want me not to have a dad, so she took me. I was the only child. We left. moved to LA to North Kingsley Drive.
Wow. Oh, there you go.
That's where
the next venture.
it's the first address I had to ever remember. It's the first.
Wow.
It's
in New York?
No, Hollywood.
In Hollywood.
Yeah,
Hollywood.
between Fountain and Sunset.
Wow. Yeah. So you were Hollywood born, more or less raised in
Raised
Hollywood.
in Hollywood. I learned everything in Hollywood. I saw everything from gang wars to prostitutes to poverty to music and rock and roll and
Right. It's those are murky waters to navigate growing up in fucking Hollywood. Like we talk about it living out here. We're all East Coast guys. Came from, totally different.
I was about to be a Queens dude because my family moved to Queens.
Right.
And then since my dad's family moved to LA and my mom stayed, we were in Queens. I could have been a New Yorker.
Right.
You know what I mean? I
would have had a whole
I would have
different
had
vibe.
a different accent, a different vibe. I probably still would have chosen what I did.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's not something that I chose, actually. It's something that I kind of it was
in you.
That's it, yeah. I just followed my gut.
Absolutely. So now, how long, I mean, you said you were dealing with all types of, the adversities of growing up in Hollywood. Why do you think you obviously you were out here with your mom and dad.
Mom and dad, yeah.
Obviously must have had
together.
a great, actual core family taking care of you, because we talk about it with girls out here and people I meet. The ones that are growing up here, you're privy to so much more so fast.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You experience so much more.
And things don't matter as much as they should. The important things sometimes.
Right.
See, people have different morals, different beliefs nowadays. Back in the day, it was just family was such an important thing, and it still is to me. I have 3 kids now.
I see.
I live for that. I live to see, my job now is not music. It's not cannabis. It's none of that. That's just that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
My real job in the big picture is to raise these kids to be good people.
Back to your
They
last
need
name.
to be good people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's anyone's job who's given birth to someone or who has a child. Make them good people for the future, man.
We'll get into it a little bit further down the line a little bit, because it's an interesting thing, being for lack of a better word, you're a fucking rock star, for a long time, and
I
still
usually
are.
say
Obviously,
I play one on TV because I don't.
You have
when I'm walking around, I'm on the streets. People say, "Oh my God, Shavo!" I'm like, I sometimes forget because I don't want to be that guy that knows it and it's not my thing.
Right.
I'm a human that got the opportunity to do what I did.
I
got lucky. I put the time and effort in. Of course, I'm a grinder, bro. As you see now, I don't need to do any of this, bro. I'm doing it because I don't want to just sit around. So I just want to be a human, give people a good energy, a good vibe, and I want them to know that good people exist so they can maybe be good.
No, where did you get this from, though? You know what I mean? It's because I'm relating to it so much. I mean, we're not even close to a level of rock stardom that you were at, so it's even more inspiring. But I'm very close to a bunch of guys. Our journey's been different. I've been independent all the way up till now, and built a pretty.
But that's
just
awesome,
with social media, we were able to
Respect on
build
that,
something
yeah.
amazing. You know what I mean? But seeing, being privy to a lot of the relationships I have and seeing how people interact, I mean, that's a huge part of where I've gone. I feel like with more success I've had, I become more humble. You know what I mean? And I connect with so much of what you're saying, though. And I look back as to why. I mean, I was super blessed. Like you said the word lucky. And I say that, I said that to my father yesterday on the phone. I'm just like, this shit is, I could have walked outside and got hit by a fucking car.
The fact that you could talk to your dad, you should be grateful.
Exactly. And I am, but reason I ask why you're like this is because I haven't even had extreme hardships. Really, I've had a few different ones,
You're blessed.
But Me
too, by the way.
I was floating around kind of not realizing that. And it comes with age and
But it
experience.
happens. You have to go through that to
Right.
realize dude, there was a time when, I'll be honest, from 2004 maybe to 2010, I saw, I managed some of it down from the first day to
I want to get into this.
to 97, 96, where I hired our manager, who's still today our manager. It was just something I did,
Right.
Tell me again how this started, because I started talking about system, but I don't know what.
No, I was just talking about being as humble as you are,
Well,
or realizing that you said the word lucky and it just struck a chord.
Well, we're lucky, bro, because like there's a lot of bands out there. There's a lot of talented musicians out there. There's a lot of talented people out there that do the best filming, the best ideas, the best stories. Like, you know, writers, artists, painters, musicians, but they don't get that opportunity to become something, to be noticed by others and actually appreciated.
Right.
So that's what I'm really grateful for, because, you know, yes, I pushed. Yes, I grinded. Yes, I did. Like I said, here's how it started. So yes, I managed systems. So I was the one. We didn't have computers. We didn't have the internet. So I would go to Kinko's. I would make Xerox copies. I would, you know, had a glue gun, you know, a glue stick. I would paste, you know, this, that, put 4 on each page, print them, cut them. We had no money.
Doing fucking legwork. Doing it all yourself.
And then I would pass out flyers. We didn't have a song yet because our drummer was the 4th member. You know, the 3 of us were together for a bit. We had an idea. We had a name. Me and Darren would like hang out all night smoking joints and talking about how great it's gonna be and what we're gonna do. So I took that and ran. And I was working at a bank doing wire transfers. That was First Interstate Bank.
I love it.
And I was going to college at the same time, studying psychology and stage art, like
psychology.
Psychology, because I like people's minds. I want to know why you know, what made this person the way. Anyways,
absolutely.
And so it started from there, and I would make flyers. We had the name, and I here's a quick story.
Right.
I had a high school friend. He turned out that he was schizophrenic. I didn't know at the time.
Okay.
He just had this crazy look, but he was very preppy. Hair combed sideways, glasses. I was like, bro, he had this look in his eyes. I mean, I think it was the schizo coming out.
Right.
And I was like, you would look rad, tied up with System of a Down written on your chest.
Crazy.
And he looked at me and he goes, I'll do it. I was like, really? So I took him to my house, the back of my parents' house. I was living with my parents until I was 26.
Yeah.
Like the tour bus would pick me up from my mom's house. Anyway, so I went and I tied him up and I wrote with my mom's lipstick, I wrote System on his chest.
Yeah.
And what he didn't know is I pushed him down. So he fell and he was tied up and he was struggling to get up. And that's when I started taking pictures. That picture became iconic. That was our first demo cover. That became like something, you know, that we're still using till today somehow.
It's
that's how it started, bro, by a passion.
Exactly. It's very similar to how I felt or how we did it. We didn't really have any help, but it's like it's that like there's a beginner's luck that I feel like comes with when you're doing things the right way, when you're living with the right intentions and you're entering something because you're passionate and the intentions are pure. You know what I mean? You're not.
Yeah, man.
I feel like the beginner's luck is kind of like, yeah, come this way. You know what I mean? Like just ideas like that. Like I remember not even thinking twice about some of the shit we did early on that would end up just go viral. It feels good. And I probably wouldn't even do it now because of what I know. And my like, oh, maybe not as high quality or whatever. You know what I mean? It's interesting when I hear you talk about it because it kind of reminds me. Now, how long did you guys actually make music before you started popping off?
We started in 95. Our first show was May 28th, 1995. It was at the Roxy. Because I was booking everything. I was like, I would make wire transfers, and then after every third call, I'd call the Roxy, be like, yo, so we're this band called System of a Down, and like, we need a show. They're like, well, you need a demo. I need to hear it. I'm like, bro, but we don't have any money. It was a catch-22. We have no money. We all were like little kids growing up and with no money. We weren't privileged, you know? So, and there was no way of making a demo off of a computer because that didn't exist at the time. Right. You had to get a studio, you had to hire an engineer, so it cost at least $500. So it was this thing that we couldn't get a show because no one could hear what we were doing. But after so much, like calling 1 to 4 people, I would call I think it was the Opium Den at the time, the Roxy, Troubadour, and Whiskey. Those were the clubs that I aimed at because I was always following like the LA band thing. Like I knew Motley Crue started there. I was like, I want to do that. I'm going to follow their lead. Right. You know, I didn't know too much, but I was like, okay, I'm going to try those clubs. After a while of like being hung up on a few times, the dude's like, okay, man, can you sell tickets? I go, I'm sure we can. He's like, let me give you a number of a promoter. This dude named Brian Markovich, you know, and if he's still alive, man, thank you.
Shout out Brian.
Yeah, Brian. He was like, can you sell 75 tickets? I was like, give me 75 tickets. We sold it all in a week. and asked for 75 more and sold that too. The dude's like, who is this?
So just off the strength of your
just
homies,
because we
like,
had friends and people that,
people.
because we were around for a while, bro. Like we jammed, and then we had this big studio that was like a little like a storage spot.
So people would come by.
They would come by and listen, and that would be our shows and our like training. You know, our training was like to friends.
I was just gonna say, how did you guys know what you really sounded like? I mean, obviously you play, but like you didn't have any recordings.
Nothing.
Just had songs written and would play them. So I mean,
to memory.
Yeah.
Like, none of us know notes.
Wild.
I never had a lesson ever in my life.
Wild.
I just like loved the guitar, and by the time, you know, since 5 years old, and then my grandma gave me a guitar when I was like 12, and cause my parents always thought of like music as like, oh, he's gonna get into music, he's gonna be like a starving musician, which is the way it was in Armenia back in the day, you know. So they're thinking like the old country.
Right.
Well, I just took it and ran. I just fucking just played every day.
So you were able. It's something innately in you knew, like, I mean, because you're obviously somebody who took discipline from your parents and but and respect them to the
they
highest
instilled
degree.
that in me, the family, the value of having a family,
right?
You know.
Right. It's dope to hear, man. I've drawn so many similarities, and it kind of. I have a friend, Post Malone. I feel like some people.
Dude,
in the
I
rock
feel like
world
I
might
should
know.
be hanging out with that dude. That dude has so much in common with me. I don't know him personally.
We can connect the dots. It's one of my best
You
friends.
should. Something that because I know he's a metalhead. You know.
Yeah.
I'm friends with Scott Storch, and there was a time where he hit me up. He goes, "Look, man, we should do this banger for Post Malone." And I went in and we hung out. We never actually did it, but I feel like we both got so busy, it just kind of became something that we talked about but never did.
It's my dog,
dude. I would love to make something for him because I'm like,
that's my dog.
I write every day, bro. Like, you know, I'd love to give him something.
For sure,
I'd love to bless him.
He actually took me. Reason I bring him up, he took me to my first like real show. It was the final Slayer show just recently.
I was there. Oh, he came the day after. I was there on the first night.
Yeah, we went the second.
I saw those pictures.
We went the second.
Yeah, I
and
saw
then
that he was
back.
there. That's respect, man. That's respect.
He took me to it. It was awesome. But he's
because
really,
his shit's amazing. It ain't metal, but I love the way he does what he does, bro. I'm a fan.
Right.
I'm not a fan of a lot of the new shit going on around, but he's someone that is an exception in my world.
Transcending like the
bro. You could tell he's got passion in whatever he does, and that's so important, man.
He's the best.
Yeah.
So I actually got some songs with him that are not out yet, but it'll be. I love that you.
Dude, this might be something cool that we're talking like this because I've got a lot that I could share. Anyways, we'll talk later.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Let's go back into what we're.
Yeah. So, I mean, I want to talk a little bit. This is kind of working the way on most of these podcasts. We're kind of walking us through to where we are now presently. But
they were like, "Don't talk about System, just talk about the brand." I'm like, but System's a part of my life. Like,
yeah.
You know, if we're talking,
I mean, and it was an iconic band. You know what I mean?
Man,
and it really
it still is. We're not.
Oh, it is for sure. And I know you guys are touring your ass off.
Yeah, we got those shows in LA coming up May 22 and 23.
I'm gonna have to pull up on your ass.
Let me know. I got you.
With a big fucking.
I got you though.
Big woods roll.
I'll hook you up. I got you on that show. Yeah, please.
22 Red, bro.
If you got that, I'm good.
We need to do a merch exchange too. These are ours. It's our brand is for the homies, and we're passing a joint back and forth.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we can do like some 22 Red ones.
I got you.
Rock and roll.
Yeah,
yeah. But I want you to kind of just. It's fucking interesting because again, it's what your parents were worried about. Even when you do have success, the real successful rock stars, there's a huge undertone of a troublesome, there's so many new things, hard things to deal with and navigate with fame, with, the rock and roll. And I see it firsthand with people here all the time, but doing it the way, coming out this side of it and being the way you are now, I'd like you to talk a little bit about your time system, just when you guys were at your peak in rock and roll and at the highest level. I'd like to know a little bit about what was going on in your mind. I know it was probably, it was life-changing, but I mean...
Well, it started with me at like 20-something, like 20, 21.
That's so young.
So it's like, I was... Dude, the best thing... Here's a quick story. I was going to college and I was working, and I was managing the band, and I was jamming with the band. So, like, I swear, I would wake up at 6 a.m., get to work by 7, get off at 4, be in class by 5:30, leave at 7, be at rehearsal at 9 till midnight, start the day over again the next day with 4 or 5 hours sleep. That was it. But I wasn't I wasn't bitching about it. It was like, I'm doing that now.
You wanted to do it.
But now I got kids. I take the kids to school. I go do what I got to do. And then I take them to Taekwondo. And then I go to the studio at night. And I come home. I sleep. So it's the same. Anyways.
It's fucking awesome.
What happened was when it did go down, it was so surreal because I was so young. It's like, imagine, like, we started, like, they gave us, in 98, our first tour was Clutch, Slayer, we opened, and the label gave us a little bit of, finance to, like, get an RV. We had no bus. We got an RV, a used RV, and the tour manager at the time, I love you, Eddie, but, yo, man, you messed up. He said, bumper to bumper, baby, it's covered. Nothing was covered. It was like a 10-year-old RV. The first drive from LA to, like, I don't know, was it Arizona? The hood flew off, and we were in the middle of some
That's legendary.
freeway, and like I have a flashlight. We're driving ourselves. I have a flashlight because it ain't moving. I'm like flagging down 18-wheelers so they don't crash into us. Like, it was first ever
Love it.
out of LA experience. It started that way. So I did that, and maybe a couple of years later. Well, let me talk about that, because Slayer was one of my favorite bands ever. And all of a sudden, our first tour, we're touring with Slayer, bro.
Wild.
And Clutch, too.
And getting like that front row seat to, their greatness and what
Oh,
they,
dude,
like,
that's one thing. But here's another thing. Slayer, if you're opening for them, they don't like you. Doesn't matter who the fuck you are.
No
because
way.
you ain't Slayer. Slayer fans are so
the fans.
They're so hardcore.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't give a fuck
Makes
about
sense.
these guys. System of a what?
Right.
What, they're wearing makeup? Because we used to do all sorts of theatrics.
Right.
I come from Kiss and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Appreciating what Kiss did with
Showbiz,
theatrics.
baby.
Maybe I didn't like all their songs, but I dug what they did with the vision.
Right.
So yeah, man, we're playing songs like Sugar with like eyeliner on and makeup on, and these guys are like ready for Rain and Blood, and they're going, fuck these guys, right? We get booed, this, that, but I think it built us. It made us who we are, bro. I swear, because if that didn't happen,
Facts.
we probably wouldn't have the balls to like stay up there. We never left. They booed us. We never left.
That's when everyone stops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's when it's like really a very human thing to just want to stop and want to retreat.
But hell no, not for us. It drove us.
Exactly.
And 4 months later, they took us to Europe for the first time. So they're like our
So
godparents.
Slayer was, yeah.
Yeah, the first tour ever America, first tour ever Europe was with Slayer.
Wow.
And they just dug the fact that we didn't give a fuck, and we did weird shit with metal and funk and everything else. We just did a waltz and polka, and we just love music, bro.
Yeah.
Darren, he's an amazing songwriter, that dude, man. He's my guitar player and he's my friend, but also like, I give credit where credit's due, man. The dude, my riffs with his arrangements sound really like
wild.
They're the ones, like Sugar, Mind, all those songs. It's like us putting our shit together.
Right.
So that happened, and so Slayer, yeah, man.
How long were you guys actively dropping records for, like, what span of time?
We stopped
a decade or more than that?
Well, we started, our first album dropped in 98. Our last album was, I think, 05. Shit happens as you grow, and when you have a lot of artists in one unit, you know how they shit.
Being in a band is fucking...
No, they say there's a lot, when there's a lot of chefs in the same situation, yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love all my band members. It's just, sometimes things, I'm not saying we'll never make one. We have a lot of music.
You guys got crazy fans that want albums.
And that's one thing I'm so grateful for, bro. We just announced 2 shows in LA and they sold out in 4 days. I'm like, wow, bro, that's crazy without having an album since 05. Like,
wow.
Like, blessed.
Yeah, no, it's a huge blessing.
Blessed. Yeah.
It's a huge blessing. Now, when you think back of the time and you got, even after the Slayer tour, that was your start, but playing your own shows and becoming as prevalent as you guys were. Psyche-wise then, were you guys, what was coming up? What were the obstacles there? Of like, I've had this conversation with Post off camera multiple times, and it's just like, it's an interesting experience to be a young kid and your whole life is flipped on its fucking head.
It shapes your life.
Yeah, it shapes your life. So it's just like the way you're channeling it this is what I'm kind of picking at, because I'm interested in just hearing it in the form of advice, more or less, but just being able to, like, hey, starting from the mud, getting on, remaining yourself, actually letting it shape you positively, getting out gracefully, and
I never saw like we ever got out. It was 2 dudes had a disagreement. We still kept the band going. There's no personal issues at all. When we're hanging out, we're bros. When we're on tour, we're having a blast.
You guys are playing shows
There's
currently.
no fighting. I'm telling you, there's no fighting. It's the weirdest thing in the world. I still don't get it. Like, I'm like, bro, if there was 4 of me, we'd be like, album every other year and
Yeah.
touring, and we'd be the band, But it's cool. I guess everything happens for a reason, man.
Of course.
So there's a little bit of artistic, creative differences, which. And
Is it
we're
like direction? Is it like
it's
it direction of
but
sound?
let me tell you something, man. This is I think why we have such respect from fans. We could get together, make something half-ass, and make millions of dollars, tour and be the band, and but we don't, because it needs to be organic. And if there's four of us, if two of us have this much of something happening, we're actually like being real and don't want to release nothing that's not what we can do, like top. So
Why you can't tarnish?
we can sell out and just really fine. Let's get together. Whatever. We're humans. We love each other. We can get together and do whatever. But if it's not coming straight from the heart, we don't really want to release it, because every album that you hear, every song that you've heard, has come from the heart from all of us. Nothing fake and nothing contrived. So we don't want to do nothing contrived. So that's why we haven't released it. We have songs, bro.
It's out of respect. I get it.
Yeah, it's a respect to not only ourselves, but to our fans.
Yeah, and the craft.
Yeah, man. So that's where we're at, and I get it. And you know what? I look at it as a blessing also. It was bothering me for a long time, because, like I said, I'm the fucking guy that let's keep going, But it wouldn't have given me the opportunity to do 22 Red. It wouldn't give me the opportunity to do a new project that I'm about to launch in April, North Kingsley.
Let's talk about
I had
it.
a family. I have 3 kids that I love being a dad. Kids, we talked about it before. I'm just saying, like, things happen, and you can either look at it as an omen, or you could look at it as a blessing. And I think it's a blessing, man.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're still together and we're going to be rocking those shows together. We're going to go into Europe and kill Europe and the rest of the world. I mean, like I said, I'm blessed, bro.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not complaining.
The whole thing's been, if you look back at your life now, you can't question it. You can't question the way everything's going. It's
let
just
it happen.
It's been
bro.
amazing. So when I said get out earlier, I meant like even just getting on to the ladder where you're actually like starting a family, you know what I mean? And going on to that phase where a lot of people in entertainment who live these rock and roll lifestyle and you live, it's just for no matter who it is, who you are DNA wise as a person, these circumstances are extreme.
Very.
It fucks with your ego. It fucks with the way your perspective. All of a sudden, it's all about you all the time, really, because it kind of has to be for it to be great. So it's like,
I understand when people get egotistical. I get it.
Yeah, I get it too.
I get it
too. It's been a blessing. It's been an amazing little journey that I've just kind of started really recently. I'd say my last year and a half.
I want to hear some stuff, man.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. After we'll play, you'll notice our barefoot is gone. We had a little festivity the other night, and we were banging for a while.
Since we got some time, I mean, I have a song that can, like, once the cameras are off and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to.
I fucking love to hear it, man. It'd be an honor.
This is being recorded, right?
Yes.
Can I use the restroom?
Yes, of course. We always do a pee break
I've
anyway.
been drinking like a lot of water and shit. So
get in there.
We'll be right back with You Never Know, You Know What I Mean, right after this urination break.
Looking for a city where we'll never die, where the sane in millions never say goodbye.
This 22 Red got my eyes red. Makes sense, guys. We were just talking about this gelato. This is the shit that we've been going dumb.
dude,
for.
I love it.
And the caramel gelato would just run around the city trying to track us down, trying to track it down.
The caramel's more of an indica, and I named it caramel gelato because it just came out that way. It was the way it looked. But once I got used to smoking it, it's more of like a lemon gelato because it's a fino. It's a gelato mix. I'm not sure exactly what thing. Yeah,
mimosa.
That's my daytime. And it's also another, like, okay, it's not about what it is. Like, there's 50 different kinds of wedding cakes. There's 50 different kinds of mimosas.
Right.
Some of the, like, Purple Punch. These names are played out. But remember, every seed is like a baby. It's like a kid. Okay? So not every kid gets the same genes. Some kids are good at sports. Some kids are smart. Some kids read well. Some kids start talking at 1.5. Some kids wait till 4 years old. So I look for those phenos that are just like, something that I like. It's not about what maybe the majority like.
Right.
Something in my life I've
you're
noticed.
actually curating these tastes.
Yeah, I'm
personally.
I realize my taste, I can make people like it. Like if I love it, I can you're gonna love it.
Right.
Because I don't love nothing that's not good.
Right.
It's like someone tells me, "What's your favorite song?" Oh, favorite song, bro. I just love good songs. What's your favorite type of music? What, I'm gonna say I don't like EDM? No, I love it. If there's a good version of a fucking song, I'm into it. Metal, I'm all about it. Hip hop, I'm all about it. Anything. Country, if there's a good country song, I'm gonna fucking listen to it 50 times.
Hell yeah.
So it's about what's good, not a specific genre of anything.
Right.
Hence, I'm releasing strains that might be played out for the like Cookies, for example. That brand, Burner.
Yep.
Such an inspiration. Those guys are badass. They do things the right way.
Killing it.
Their strains come out like they're constantly on top of things, you know? I have a different model. I'm not having strains come out every month or every week, something new, which, you know, is an amazing thing that they're doing.
Right.
So I'm not competing. I like what they're doing. I actually like smoke their shit, you know what I mean?
Right.
As I smoke mine. But mine is more like what I found after doing pheno hunts. What I find is my number one, like for a reason. Taste, feeling, and look. Like I really appreciate this shit. I'm a connoisseur. Yeah, man. So it's, you know, I don't know how else
I could tell.
It's what I like. So I swear by this. I know exactly, like, I should do some videos, like some content maybe. I'm thinking about it now. Maybe I should, like,
Absolutely,
from
bro.
like seed to me smoking it, you know? And talk about how, you know,
Bro, you should be you could be crushing that lane.
I should.
Honestly, because
I'm looking for content makers. Anybody out there? Let me know.
We have guys.
Let me know. I'd love to do
all
something.
my God, we do everything
I'd
independent.
love to do
ton
something
of content
and do
makers.
revenue share instead of just like paying for it. I'd like to just like do it as a partner and
Yeah,
kill
yeah.
it. I'm all about. Like, I'm a collaborator, bro. Like,
It's the best.
even in my band, I'm not a solo artist. I can do shit solo, but I find myself better if I bond with some other artists or other people that have a
There's
vision.
an energy that gets.
I love it.
And it's funny because I've been independent. I have a studio in my house. I work with one producer mainly. So I actually haven't, especially just the path business wise that we've taken doing it independent. I haven't really been like, I haven't really ever been a feature collaborator
What kind of
guy.
music are you doing?
So it's like, it started as hip hop, rap.
Okay.
It was more lyrical, like punchline.
That's what I'm into.
That's where I was actually my first style. When I would
Like
say
about
like
Wu-Tang.
about 8 years
know.
ago. Yeah, it wasn't as it was brighter than that though.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? But there was an actual like I was really amateur, but it was because I was a good baseball player, and it was a rarity that
you can
I
do
started
that
I
too.
started rapping on camera and they would start to go viral. And this was just beginning of like YouTube when it
wow.
really started to be a like YouTuber
I didn't know this about you,
type
bro.
thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I got my start really just straight up from YouTube.
It's great.
Like I wasn't even Spotify didn't even fucking exist, I don't think. You know, like I started at 20. I've been doing it for almost 9 years.
9 years now, yeah.
And it's been this constant like brick by couldn't have been more brick
I got a
by
bass
brick.
line for you.
Bro,
I want to create something for you.
I'll play you some shit out.
I do shit on the spot, by the way. My whole way of creating nowadays.
I'm the same.
You know, ever since I, there's a complete story of its own, which I'm going to actually do a special on where people didn't know. I was prescribed Xanax when I was 21, and I thought it was the norm. I didn't know that it was going to make my body need it.
Right.
Anyways, 5 years ago, I was like, this ain't cool. I ain't taking it. I'm not happy.
Right.
I went in and I cleaned myself up, and now I'm free of it. I haven't done it, you know, and I'm happier than I've ever been. This is something that, you know, out there. I always like wrote music at home and I brought it in, and that's how it worked. Once I went and I got clean of that, because what that does is, it makes you feel good when you're not feeling. When you're feeling bad, it makes you feel okay.
Right.
But it also takes away the highs. It's a soul compressor. It's the best feeling.
soul
But it's a soul compressor. It really makes you like it compresses you. It's an EQ. Like if you're an EQ, like here's your happy, here's your sadness,
Right.
stress. It cuts that out, but it also cuts that out after a while, bro. And then you're this, and you become monotone. You know. So I didn't want to be that anymore.
Right.
Hence, I am the way I am right now. So once I got it out of me, my art changed, my bass playing changed, my writing changed.
Yeah.
I remember how I started talking about this. Ever since then, I get into the studio. I love to collaborate. Like I said, I'll meet someone that can create badass beats. Throw me a 4/4, let me go buck wild. Like a Scott Storch on the bass.
Right.
Where it's like, that dude's talented as hell, but he's got it in him. It's a gene thing. You know, he's
Scott
natural.
Storch?
Yeah, it's my homie.
On the keys.
He'll be like, you'll throw him a 4/4 and he'll just be like, brrr, and he'll come up with like Dre Day. You know what I mean?
It's retarded. It's crazy. He's the best probably ever, right?
I've been playing, dude. Not the best in piano. He's the best in. I don't want to say best. No one's the best.
Right.
But he's badass.
One of the best.
He's badass.
Right.
In just like doing something without thinking, and it comes out awesome because it's just in him, bro. You know what I mean? He doesn't. He doesn't need to try. It's like a Kobe, God rest his soul. It's like a magic. It's like he's the Rolex of that. He can just do it. It's in his. Some people got it. And it's all about like. That's what I teach my kids, man. It's like, don't try to do everything. Find out what you're good at and fucking work on that. You'll be the best because you're already naturally good at it. So if you put a little effort into it, you'll be the best at it.
Right.
So that's where I realized once I cut all that shit out of my life, there was like a whole year I didn't have a sip of alcohol. I didn't even smoke a joint. I didn't, because I had to prove to myself I could be who I am with nothing substance in my system. Since I did that, then I started introducing alcohol a little back. I could have a couple of sips of nothing and not need to get fucked up.
Right.
Weed. I love smoking weed. But if I have to get into a meeting and I'm not going to be smoking weed and go into that and be, I know all that.
Right.
People see me smoking, they think I'm always high. Sometimes I look tired in the picture, they go, oh, that dude's stoned. No, I'm not, bro. Like it's not like I wake up and I smoke. Sometimes I do, but if I have something to do, I don't.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I become a huge advocate for weed. I used to drink a lot more.
Me too, bro.
It was
I used to do.
Just
I was a mess with that, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I think alcohol's a lot worse, honestly.
Bro, you think it can kill you.
I know.
Weed can't kill you,
it's
bro.
poison. This is not at all. It's actually
alcohol messes your brain up. Now I drink every now and then. I drink with my wife. We go out to dinner.
So
but I don't
drink.
I don't drink to get drunk anymore, though.
Yeah,
that's
I
the
can't
thing.
say the same.
I don't. When I was 30, you're 30. When I was 30, I was getting. I only drank to get drunk.
Right.
There was no other purpose. Yeah.
I'm not like, yo, let's have like a couple beers tonight.
Never. No.
If
Dude,
I'm
I
gone,
down
I'm
a
gone,
bottle of Black Label a day. That was my shit. And then I was like, well, I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna do Patron now because it's clear. That was the mentality.
rationale. How you rationale?
That's where I was, bro. And anyways, once I got the Xanax out of me, I kind of got everything out of me. And I realized, people say addiction is always like you're always recovering. No, bro. Yeah, I drank a bottle of fucking whiskey a day, dude. I don't need a drink, and I don't even like getting buzzed at this point.
Right.
I'll have a drink just to be social and done.
Right.
That's it. Yeah, I love getting high, but I get high. I don't want to get high when I'm working.
Right.
Because sometimes it slows you down.
For sure.
You just got to know yourself, bro. It's all self-knowledge.
For sure.
Anyways, what I was saying about the music is once I got sober from the Xanax, which was the fucking soul compressor, as I was saying, I realized something about myself I never knew. I can do that, what I was talking about Scott does, on the bass and the guitar. You throw me a 4/4 and I'll just create right there on the spot. I don't have to write at home, and the best shit comes out that way. And this is the little interlude I'm going to give to North Kingsley. I had a lot of stuff written that was just waiting to go to the next System of a Down album. And I was like, okay, let me put these riffs, these ideas into North Kingsley. But when I started jamming and I had Sorrow, my dude that does all the beats and the production, he put a 4/4 and I just started flowing. I was like, this is the way the record's gonna come out, where I just do it on the spot.
Yeah. Well, that's honestly, that's how I do vocally. I freestyle.
It's like
everything.
freestyle.
That's how Post does it. And he's really that's how I saw.
Dude, we need to jam.
Yeah, for sure.
You gotta get me.
I'm gonna play some shit.
Let me know, bro. I'm telling you, throw a cook track and I'll come up with some crazy shit for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Just on the spot, because of the room, the way the vibe is in here, it'll make me do something. And I collect instruments also.
Yeah.
And because I think every instrument makes you do something different.
For sure.
Like I can change basses and with the same beat, I'll write something different.
So now with this North Kingsley project, where is what's the status?
Okay, here's how it started. So I was jamming with an old friend of mine. This is all after I got sober off that Xanax. The Xanax is the fucking devil, by the way. Once I stopped that, I had gained weight. I became like 220.
Wow.
I'm 165 right now. And I was always like 155, 165. That was my whole,
Crazy.
I've always been a skinny guy. But I was just very gluttonous. Eat whatever I wanted at any time of the day, drink, party, doesn't matter. I realized one day I was like, dude, this is not cool. I can't put this, I can't zip up my fucking suit pants. So I went in and I got That happened. So when I got off the Xanax, I changed my life. I had gained all that weight.
Right.
Once that happened, I couldn't put my suit on. I started Googling like weight loss, and I was like, what does it take? And I saw all these diets, and I'm like, all right, the common denominator is less carbs, less sugar, less fat. Let me do that. 6 months, I lost 57 pounds, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, I just fucking disciplined myself, and then I became this guy again.
Yeah.
Changed my whole wardrobe. I got all inspired. Now I'm like,
Amazing.
I got to start a business. I got to do something. I'm going.
Right.
22 Red. Boom. Kind of had the idea. It happened. 22 is my birthday, April 22nd. I got married May 22nd. I was 22 when System got picked up. That was 22 years prior to me thinking of 22
cool.
Red. I was 44 when I thought of 22 Red.
That's cool. Now,
my 2 boys are born 2 years and 22 days apart.
wow.
Just 22 has been my magic number, you know?
I love that. Where did Red 22 Red is how old of a company? Because I see
1
you're
year.
expanding now. You're going to different states.
Year and 2 months.
You're going to different states now. Moving
Oh
on
yeah,
to,
dude. Our whole thing is to scale. It's always been my thing.
Yeah.
To keep the quality the same and to move that quality through other states, because every state's got different quality of weed.
Right.
Cannabis, also apparel. We're
Right.
trying to make everything
see
really
that.
up to par, not just grab a shirt from a random merch company and slap your logo on it and
Right.
sell it for $50. No,
Yeah, like you're doing with the weed. You want to curate it.
quality, bro.
Yeah. Now, do you think some of, I mean, I know it has for me when I was talking about how I'm an advocate for weed. Do you think a lot of your creativity, when you think back to some of your breakthrough moments, the ideas you had that worked, do you think it was aided by marijuana use?
No,
Not at all.
nah, no way, bro. Marijuana is cool. I smoke it every day, but it's not what makes me who I am.
Oh,
And-
for
And
sure.
it shouldn't be what makes anyone who they are. Everyone is
No,
themselves.
but just actually weed, it
calms me down. I'm a hyper
enhances-
person, bro. I've always been like, boom, I've got a lot to say, a lot to do.
Yeah.
I'm always grinding. It chills me out sometimes.
Yeah. Of course. People smoke for all
It
types.
lessens the anxiety.
All different types of reasons, I think. You know what I mean? But I definitely think there's an element to it that's like,
It's creative. If you smoke the right
creative.
thing, it makes you want to,
Yeah.
it gives you drive.
personally, for me, it does.
This mimosa does that.
Yeah. Other than mimosa, yeah.
Yeah, it
And
does that.
The gelato for me,
The
that's,
gelato for me is more of like when I always have a gelato jar
Mm-hmm.
at home. And it's when I come home from like a long day, like if I've had like 5 meetings and I have 3 hours and I gotta go to the studio in 3 hours,
Mm-hmm.
I'll smoke a gelato and I'll chill and I'll watch like a show on Netflix. And that's my gelato. That's
Right.
how I use it. Cause it's so light, but it just feels good.
right.
It's a nice indica
I agree,
hybrid.
sir.
Yeah. The mimosa is more of a sativa hybrid. It gets you more.
Yeah, like
more,
active.
Yeah. It's like a coffee.
Yeah. For real, man. It's just been having weed be more of a steady in my life versus alcohol was like, my body, I felt like I could take care of my body a lot more. Of
course.
Alcohol, just like the hangover and what it
Dude,
does.
the hangover is the worst.
Diet-wise,
dude, I'm
like the
45
empty
years old now.
calories.
Trust
Yeah.
me. If I have like over 4 drinks one night, let's say I'm out with my wife and we're just having a good, the next day, bro, the next 2 days, I'm a mess.
Yeah.
Before it would be like a few hours, I'm back.
Yeah.
None of that,
That's
bro.
what happens,
So
man.
it's like, yeah, I'd rather, a weed has no hangover.
Feel that. I feel that.
Was I talking about North Kingsley?
Yes. Yeah, North Kingsley, I was asking what the status is.
So how it started? I'll tell you how it started, and I'll tell you where we're at.
Okay.
It started about a year and a half ago. I had an old friend that I actually started playing music with.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing his own thing. I was doing my own, and I just, I said I want to start a brand. I want to start a new band. I'm trying to get System back to tour. Whatever I could do, I wanted to do because I had this like new life in me. When you get that shit out of you, bro, it's like, pow, the compressor goes off, and now you're like
Crazy.
all
Yeah, you feel that.
Yeah,
You seem
all
like
the
you're
frequencies are
energized,
there.
though, you know what I mean?
And it hasn't stopped. This was 5 years ago, and
Wow.
it hasn't stopped. Yeah. So I was like, I need to be able to, because I always write. I know Darren's the main songwriter in our band, but I really love to make music, bro. That was like, I love to write. I love riffs.
Really?
I wrote Sugar. I wrote No. I wrote Toxicity, like those songs. Of course, Darren helped me arrange those because he's a master at that, and Serge with the vocals, but everyone in my band I give credit to for every song. It doesn't matter who wrote what, but like for the last few years, I haven't had a place to like bring that out, and I play, I write, I have riffs, and all of a sudden like there's nowhere to go, so those riffs disappear, and I keep making new ones, and I didn't record it, so they disappeared. They're totally gone. Like there's probably hundreds of riffs that could have been
gone.
something that are gone. Yeah, I don't remember what I did. Because remember, I do everything spontaneously.
Right.
So I was like, I want to do something. So I called my bro. I was like, man, maybe we should jam. We haven't jammed. You did the, we've been friends forever. Anyways, we jammed a little. It didn't work out. Our chemistry wasn't the same, But I met someone there who knew Logic, Logic Pro.
Right.
And I was like, I need to learn a new program. Why don't you come give me some lessons? I'll pay you. So he came to my studio. Me and my old friend stopped working. We said, let's be friends and not work, or else we're gonna not like each other,
right.
because it's not working out.
Right.
So as he was giving me lessons on Logic, we wrote something together. I was like, so I have this idea. Let's do this, that, and he just went, and he just did it. I was like, wow, man, I wish I could do that. But like I said, I'm 45. I'm not learning things as fast as I used to.
Right.
So that kind of made us start writing stuff together. And I was like, he's my other half. He's what I can't do. I'm what he needs. All about. That's a team, right? It's like a wide receiver, a quarterback, blocker. You need everybody.
Absolutely.
And he had this dude, Ray, that he was working with. He was the guy that was making all the beats and making all the sounds. And then Ray was just an amazing lyricist, which I didn't know at the time. So it started off as a a heavy chain smokers. I was like, we can make music for ourselves and make beats for others. Right. I know a lot of musicians out there that need music.
Right.
And I also am friends with I've made a lot of friends in the last 25 years in the industry. Jonathan Davis, Zach De La Roca. I was like, maybe I can get all my homies to come in and do vocals. It'll be like a DJ Khaled of metal.
That'd be insane.
It'd be cool. That was the original idea. But then this dude Ray comes through, which was his partner, Sorrow's partner. And the dude he's 30. It was 29 at the time. He started flowing. I was like, are you kidding me? This is your, and I started appreciating the guy's head and his brain and his thought process. And, he's 30 now, and he's very ambiguous when it comes to if he's from the left, he's into the left or the right of this, because I've always been political and social.
Right.
I haven't always been
you have.
I haven't been very vocal about it because I have a singer that is,
right.
Serge. So I don't think we all should be like
right.
But but nowadays it's I have no way of expressing it. So this kid was saying everything I wanted to say, and in a great way. So
it's
I started thinking about, let's not invite all these vocalists. Let's just
make it.
I think we have a band.
Fire.
So that's how it started. And
Fire.
It didn't have a name. There was 10, 15 names we went through, and I remember the street I grew up on, where I came from, Armenia too, which we're going back to how we started this conversation, and it was North Kingsley. And I said I could swear by that shit because that's the first address I ever had to learn. And I could get emotional talking about the shit that I've been through on that street, This could be 15 podcasts. We can go, I could tell you shit that went down.
A series with Shavo.
It fully could be, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm going to pull back now because I've been talking a lot.
I feel you.
So that's how it started. And now we're 12 songs in.
Amazing.
And I'm putting a team together, and my manager from System is managing it.
Amazing.
He usually doesn't back too many side projects because he's all about what, the main.
Right.
But he's got my back, bro.
He's fucking with it. Hell yeah.
And I'm just I'm honored to have a new team and be able to do this again, and I hope everybody fucking digs it and gets into it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So is there a rough time frame?
I already know. So I've always been the one to come up with the marketing plan, and I do all the stage production for System and all this stuff. So I'm using all that. I thought,
it's a utility guy.
We live in an ADD generation, bro. If I drop an album right now with a new band, 12 songs, they're gonna hear it once. Listen to a couple of songs a couple of times and then forget it because the new album's coming out. There's another new artist coming out. So I decided we've written 15, 16 tracks, and we'll keep writing. I wrote one last night that's I tripped myself out. I was like, fuck, I can't wait for people to hear this.
Fire.
So I thought I should drop it within the next, once we start, which will be April 22nd, it'll be our first drop. North Kingsley drops April 22nd on my birthday. I'm gonna do 3 songs. Drop 3 songs with 3 videos.
Fire.
And I'm making it because I've directed a lot of System videos, so I'm I'm gonna direct a video for every song.
Tight.
I'm doing it all by myself. I have no distribution. I have no label. I just believe in myself, and I'm kind of betting on myself and my guys. And I'm gonna just start being relevant. Every month I'm gonna drop a track, followed by a video. So I'm splitting my 15-song record I'm splitting it within a year.
Yeah,
I'm gonna share it to the world.
No, that model works
Within a year.
There's a lot of people just in the current
Doing that.
in the current sphere doing that
Yeah.
and doing it well, and then,
I think it works, and that's,
yeah.
I think system could do that if we could like get
Yeah.
along. That'd be
So-
awesome if we did that.
I could tell you still want to rock.
Yeah,
You know
bro.
what I mean?
But that's what North Kingsley is, man. It's kind of a way of like me expressing myself again. I don't think,
Right.
I don't expect everyone to be in love with it. Mm-hmm. But
Is it a departure sonically? Pretty big departure.
I've always been like a riff writer. I write riffs, parts, and I'm just doing it to like these cool trap beats that Sarah creates. And our vocalist just goes off. He's very socially conscious. He's very political, very now. He talks about Instagram, how it's messing people up, and how it's
Dope.
he talks about the good and the bad and everything else.
Yeah. Amazing. That's an exciting. So I mean, 22 Red and this all going off at the same
And
time.
I'm trying to put it off on 22 Red Music so I can make really 22 Red that lifestyle brand that I really
Fire.
been trying to create. Apparel, cannabis, music.
You're a keep going guy. It just is what it is. I appreciate you, man. This has been.
Thank you, bro.
This
Thanks
is
for having me.
like for what are we about 35 or 36 episodes. This is really the first time like I've met people for the first time, but we had talked a bunch. Or this is just kind of going into a new conversation.
Yeah, we just met, bro.
And you made it so easy. And
Thank
just,
you, bro. You too.
I
I wouldn't have been so open if I didn't feel
Man,
that.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's the type of shit that I'm trying to highlight is that you can go on and achieve great. You could beat the hard parts
For sure.
You can still remain a good person and still do things. It's really about there's an undertone of what we're doing with this podcast, and it's just like trying to lean positive. You know what I mean?
Always, bro. It's not about going. If you have a mission and you're going somewhere, it's not about going over people.
Right.
It's about going around them.
Yeah. I feel that.
You don't need to fuck people over to get to where you're going, bro.
I feel that.
And when people do that, I feel like I don't know about karma and all that, and I just feel like it's just bad, man.
Totally.
We got this certain time on this earth together. Mm-hmm. It'd be so cooler if we just were all cool to each other.
Now, were you always a spiritual just have spiritual inclinations, or
I don't know.
over time? You don't know?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I just.
I've always just been
It's like I've been through a lot, man, and so
yeah.
I've come up with this whole like way of like that I want to live and I want to share that because
Absolutely.
I feel like it's a good vibe, man.
Of course, it needs to be shared.
Be good to people, bro. Like I'll smile at people on the road. I'm the dude from System of a Down. Sometimes people trip out. I'm just like, what, dude? I'm just a fucking human being that got an opportunity and took it.
Yeah. No, exactly.
What's up,
That's the perspective.
Yeah,
man.
I ain't
It's
changing.
awesome.
I'm not changing because I am.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Rock and roll. Thank you so much for
My
doing this,
brother.
man. Cheers.
Cheers to you.
Yes, sir.